great to have you with us tonight. On behalf of the Caine College of the Arts, the music department, our director of jazz, Dr. John Goodmanson, Dr. Matz, and myself, we welcome you to our final jazz concert, a big band's concert this year. It's just always fun to perform, and the first tune you heard, Switch in Time, Sammy Nestico tune, a great tune, I think, to open up the concert with. It's always fun to do this concert in as much as we like to have a guest artist come in, and you're in for a real treat tonight. We have Mr. Graham Breedlove with us tonight. He has been working with our students the last 3 days, actually, and the kids had such a great time learning from a great artist. He is, of course, famous in lots of ways. He plays in a big band in Washington, D.C. It's called the Army Blues Band. It's Pershing's band, I think the president's own personal big band in Washington, D.C., and Mr. Breedlove is actually the solo trumpet player with that group. He's recorded many CDs. He's recorded with many great people, as well as has many Grammy nomination recordings as well. It's just been a blast to have him with us, and I think you're going to enjoy him working with the groups tonight. So we'd like you to please give a USU welcome to Mr. Graham Breedlove and the Utah State University Jazz Ensemble.
How you guys doing? Everybody okay tonight? All right, so I tell people all the time, the longer I talk, the more obvious it'll become I grew up in South Louisiana, a couple towns over from New Orleans, so don't ask me to do any long division or anything like that. But one of the things, if you know anything about music in New Orleans, especially about 100 years ago in the early years of jazz, one of the major sources of music was the church. And we talked about this in rehearsal the other day, When the Saints Go Marching In, Down by the Riverside, Closer Walk with Thee. Those are all hymns. And the first thing we played for you guys, some of you may have recognized it. It's an old hymn called Precious Lord, Take My Hand, and it comes from a composer named Thomas Dorsey, who's sort of regarded as the father of modern gospel music, which is also a big thing in New Orleans. So as a sort of tip of the hat to the early jazz people in the area where I grew up, I decided to reharmonize that and set it for big band. And so we hope you enjoyed our version of Precious Lord, Take My Hand. That featured Aiden on the trombone. We're going to continue with something I wrote not long after Hurricane Katrina. And I'm not trying to put a lid on the party, but I was reading a book at the time. I was working on this piece of music, didn't have a title for it, didn't know where it was going to go. It was about 60, 70% done, something like that. And I was reading a book and I decided that the title was really cool, so I would just steal the title from the book and use it on my song. So this is called Bayou Farewell, and the book is actually really interesting. This guy is a travel writer named Mike Tidwell, and he decided he wanted to backpack across South Louisiana and sort of meet all the interesting characters that we have down there, and he ends up learning about coastal erosion and how we're losing land, and that's a whole separate discussion, but it's a really fascinating sort of, I don't know, sociological, if that's the right word, and he meets all these really interesting people, and as I'm reading the book, I'm like, yeah, I know that guy, I know that guy, I know that guy, I went to high school with that guy, you know, and just all the sort of unique cultural things that are happening down there. And so it's a fascinating read. I recommend it if you like to do that. Maybe you're like me, you feel like you have to prove that you read nonfiction, so you write a song about it. So this is my composition entitled Bayou Farewell. about it for Amy on the flugelhorn. Carson on the bass. And Daniel on the soprano saxophone. And a little tiny bit from Aiden again. So this is, we got time for one more with this group. This is, shocker, another thing that I wrote. But this is through my, if you look at a map, Louisiana and down New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette, kind of all on a line on Interstate 10 down there. And I grew up in Lafayette, a couple towns over from New Orleans, but there's a little muddy brown, reddish brown bayou that runs through the middle of Lafayette, Louisiana, and it's really sort of a beautiful, kind of like great memories of boat rides down this little bayou, right? If you've been to that area or if you've seen pictures, these giant live oak trees that are like 300 years old with the Spanish moss hanging down, big cypress trees with the cypress knees, we call them, coming up out of the water, alligators and stuff like that too, but it's just a lot of great memories, kind of real lazy, casual, quiet boat ride down this little bayou, so this was kind of inspired by that, and this is an original composition of mine entitled Vermilion. And let's see, you're going to hear from the Daniels, right? I was told to introduce the Daniels, and that's it, right? And then me? You got it right? Yep, cool. All right, so we hope you enjoy Vermilion.
One more for Mr. Graham Breedlove, please. Woo. Yes. We have one more selection. After all of that, we're going to close this off with a piece by Michel Camilo called "One More Once." It's kind of a fun one where the kids get to let their hair down a little bit, but yet in a kind of a funk Latin style, and we're ready to get this going. Thanks for being a great audience. There's a whole second half of this show left with the USU Jazz Orchestra, and so we'll take a little break in between. And again, the USU Jazz Ensemble. Thanks, folks. We'll just take a little break and switch bands and get right on with the show.
having a small issue with our amplifier up here, so please talk amongst yourselves. Let's get rid of this awkward silence. Thank you. I'm Dr. Max Matson. Thank you for being here tonight. This is the Utah State University Jazz Orchestra. Audience, Jazz Orchestra. Jazz Orchestra. Audience, say hi. The first chart we're going to play for you tonight is a classic from the Count Basie Orchestra entitled Blues in Haas Flats. Utah State University Jazz Orchestra. Well, thank you all very much again for being here this evening. I actually have a pretty big announcement to make that's very exciting. As of, several weeks ago, I received word that this band has been invited to perform at the Umbria Jazz Festival in Perugia, Italy. It doesn't stop there. In fact, less than an hour ago, I received notification they've also been invited to perform at the Vienne Jazz Festival in Vienne, France. This is in 2024. So, yeah, round of applause. So, some of these guys are seniors and they're not going on the trip, so I feel bad for them, but not that much. Anyway, please be on the lookout for our campaign that we will probably launch probably either late summer or early fall to help us with fundraising to get over there. You can imagine, traveling to Europe by yourself is expensive, but taking a band of this size is no easy feat. And it gets even more expensive when they run a criminal background check on that trombone section up there. Okay, well, thank you very much again for being here tonight. Without further delay, let's please welcome back to the stage Mr. Graham Breedlove.
about it for Cameron on the baritone saxophone? And on the drums, that's Ben. How about it for Ben? So I'll tell you a little bit of the backstory on that. Well, first of all, thank you for sticking around. Hey, that's a tune called Festival Time in the Ville, and the one thing that I think my people in Louisiana, actually the only thing we're really good at, is throwing a party. And that is, there was a little festival in this little town outside of the town that I grew up in, and one of my really good friends was from that town. And instead of giving him a gift when he stood at my wedding, I wrote a piece of music for him. So that was it. I've been getting a lot of mileage out of that thing, and it saved me way more money than if I had given him a gift. So anyway, so that's entitled Festival Time in the Ville. We're going to continue with something written by, actually, as a kid growing up in the 80s, I was really not into this pop band called The Police. And then as my brain and my ears kind of matured, I realized, actually, that's some pretty cool music. And it's pretty sophisticated. So, and the guy who was sort of the brainchild is a guitarist, composer, bassist, singer, songwriter named Sting, a.k.a. Gordon Sumner. And this is a tune that I always thought was a really, really cool melody. And one of the things that we do in Washington, D.C., so the big band that I'm in, the Army Blues, is a part of the United States Army Band Pershing Zone. And our organization is about 250 men and women. When you see folks playing music at the White House or a bugler playing taps at Arlington National Cemetery, most likely it's one of my coworkers, somebody from our building. And it's been really cool for 27 years to be a part of that organization, and we have an orchestra, we have a concert band, we have a rock band, we have a chorus, we have the big band, the blues, the Army Blues I was talking about. And once or twice, or about every year, every two something, we put a bunch of those resources together and do this thing called a rock orchestra concert. So imagine any classic rock tune that you've heard that has strings in it, or maybe it has, I don't know, French horns or something from back in the day. We have a couple really talented writers in our building, and one of them is a good friend of mine. He wrote a rock orchestra arrangement on this next tune, and I thought it was really cool, and I got his score and kind of messed around with it and changed a few things and reharmonized it and voiced it out for big band. So hope you guys enjoy Wrapped Around Your Finger. Well, so it's come to this. We have time for one more. And first, a couple of thank yous I would definitely like to get out of the way. First and foremost, thank you to all of you for coming out to hear live music, especially after the last several years we've had. I mean, it's just so nice to get out of the house and see other people happy to get out of the house, and to gather in a place and enjoy live music and hear all these great students doing all this great work. But without you, you guys are an important part of the process. You know, we don't get to share all the hard work that's gone into putting on something like this unless nice people show up to be an important part of the process. So thank you to all of you for coming out and hanging out with us. And you don't need me to come in from out of town and say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. You guys have a really cool cultural scene in this little, beautiful mountain town, right? Right? All right, cool. Yeah. My daughter was in Utah Festival Opera last summer. She's a musical theater major, and I'd been out here a long time ago, but came out this summer and saw everybody showing up for all the Broadway shows and the opera, and you got this major university here, and got all this other live music going around. But like I said, you guys are a vital part of the process. So please keep coming out, hearing live music, go to an art exhibit, see a dance recital, all that cool stuff, right? Because it's not like this in every small town. I got news for y'all. So please keep supporting all these wonderful people. Secondly, I told the students this afternoon. As a composer, it's such an honor to hear your music played by other human beings, but that is even more deeply meaningful and rewarding when you hear it played with such passion and energy and joy and soul and love. And I'm just honored that they would even play my music and play it as well as they have. Would you please help me say thank you to both of the bands from tonight? And finally, I've been very lucky in my career. I've gotten to travel a lot and play a lot of concerts, you know, and get paid to blow into this ridiculous thing. But some places when I go to do a guest soloist thing like this, I have to walk in and say things like, your note is a B flat, so you have to push down this button, and you have to put the small circle on your face and point the big circle at the people. But I didn't have to say anything like that these last few days because everybody was so well prepared and so well coached up, and that is a direct reflection on the brilliant faculty that you all have here at Utah State. So from the bottom of my heart, a huge thank you to Dr. John Goodmanson, Dr. Greg Wheeler, and of course, Dr. Max Madsen. Please help me say thank you. You guys have been wonderful. Again, thank you for coming out to hang out with us. We got one more for you. You're going to hear from James on the piano and Christian on the guitar and Ben again on the drums. In the first half, you heard a few pieces of music that I wrote. They're very programmatic in nature and means they were sort of supposed to evoke specific visual images in your head. This one, the title means absolutely nothing. I've lived in Washington, D.C. for 27 years, and this is called Plausible Deniability.
Graham Breedlove. Utah State University Jazz Orchestra. Graham Breedlove, folks. Right there. There he is. Graham Breedlove. Utah State University Jazz Orchestra. Go home. That's it. That's all we got. Thank you.